Hello, I am Mr. Rogers,
And I'm Mrs. Froman.
and these are the video notes on section 2-1 of your book. We're still on our invertebrate, pretty simple animals, and now we're on to the arthropods.
Yeah, pretty big group.
Big, massive group of living things, yes. So, everything from ticks, spiders, scorpions, crabs, millipedes, zoobugs. It's your typical insect would all fall into this category. So about them, there are more than any other type of living thing. So 875,000 different species. Roughly a million, so that's a big chunk.
Yeah, it's probably close to a million now with all the new discoveries.
They keep finding new ones every year. Again, some of the old living things over 540 million years ago. And you kind of keep seeing that number, that 540 million years ago. That kind of comes out of that last, that snowball Earth. That's when a lot of diversity kind of came about, is that around that 540 million years ago. Mm-hmm. You can find them anywhere, I think anywhere you find insects.
Yeah.
So crustaceans, arachnids, centipedes, millipedes, insects. They're invertebrates, and they have bilateral symmetry, so things we kind of looked at before.
So the life cycle with the arthropods, the male and female sexes are separate. They have internal fertilization for the most part.
So before, everything just kind of in the water, everything's broadcast in the water. Now it's inside
floating around, inside the organisms. Yeah. The eggs are going to hatch into either larvae, which are going to be like little wormy maggot things, or small adults. And they can live anywhere from a few weeks for their entire life or several decades. Yeah,
it's such a big phylum that there's so much.
I think there's some that as an adult they're only alive for hours.
Right, yeah. So again, all these are going to have eggs to a larva. This even has a pupa stage for the adult mosquito. So different stages as they get more complex, they go through that growth and development. So body parts. The one big kind of telling feature is they have an exoskeleton. Now we have an endo, so our bones are on the inside to help us protect and muscles attached to. They have an exoskeleton, kind of that shield of armor. It's an outer skeleton for protection and to prevent evaporation. It's made of a protein called chitin. And what they can do, and your fingernails are made of a similar keratin, but they go through a process of molting. So our bones grow as our body grows. For them, that exoskeleton doesn't grow. They have to molt and shed into a new one that's going to fit their body as it grows. So they molt. There's a pill bug molting. Sometimes you'll see on trees in the summertime, the cicada ones are always attached to trees as they shed out from them.
They also have segmented bodies. So their bodies are separated into different segments, kind of like the segmented worms. And they have jointed appendages, which means their legs have joints in them. They're not just like straight.
The joints are robot joints.
Yeah, so they can move, bend. So even their mouth has joints to it. And many of them have antennae, so they can sense their environment.
So more complex. Let me add those sensory organs, get more and more complex. All right. So, at the end of the last chapter, talked about the worms have the closed circulatory system. They have to have blood vessels, pump blood around different parts. Insects, for the most part, and arthropods have the open circulatory system. So the blood vessel leaves the vessels and kind of just bathes the organs, kind of just douses over them. And it pools and it collects back to the, so it's open, so there's no blood vessels carrying it to the individual organs like we have. They have very complex muscle systems. Think about how high a grasshopper can jump, things that they're very developed muscles, or a crab with a claw closes down.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's also good eating there. And that complete digestive system. So now we've looked at, toward the end of our worms, our annelids had that. And now, from now on, pretty much we have a complete digestive system. So intestines, stomach, all those main parts there. And they have a nervous system similar to annelids. So they're going to have kind of a central, almost like a brain. They have your eyes up there too. And nerves running throughout the body. So, much more developed nervous system, developed digestive system. So again, more and more complex.
Yes, so there's different types of arthropods. The first one we're going to talk about are crustaceans. They have 2 to 3 body segments. They have 5 or more pairs of legs. They got a lot of legs. 2 pairs of antennae, and they all live in water or in damp places. And this includes things like our crabs, crayfish, lobster.
Yeah, that's what I think of. I think of the crayfish there. You have the couple. Where's the guy there? You have a couple antennae coming out. You have the.
Yeah. Well, like the spiny lobster there. There's 2 really long ones and then 2 shorter ones. And I think some of the other ones, the short ones, are just too hard to see.
Just too small to see. But
pictures.
Crustaceans, think about your aquatic creatures, also good eating there. Most of them are. So crustacean life cycle. Again, eggs are laid and they hatch into larvae, which probably look different than the adults will. Yeah. They're going to go through metamorphosis to become adults. So metamorphosis means there's going to be a change. To morph means to change. Yeah. So metamorphosis is going through a change. Some of these guys are scavengers, carnivores, herbivores. Think about crabs, lobsters. They're kind of just feeding off what's ever there. So there's that larva looks way different than an adult crab does. So it's in that larval stage and it develops into that adult crab.
Then we have arachnids. Arachnids only have the 2 body segments, a head and an abdomen. They have 8 legs. They don't have any antenna. And the most familiar one is the spiders, but it also includes the ticks, mites, which is little tiny guys,
bed mites,
and scorpions.
So biggest thing here, 2 body sections, 8 legs would be a way to tell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, only 2 sections, head and abdomen. So insects and those guys get confused quite a bit, but they're separate. We'll talk more about insects in a separate video because they're such a broad, diverse group of their own that we kind of spend time on those. So our where are we at there? The arachnids, arachnids. They're all carnivores, either as parasites or predators. Think about spiders. Most hatch looking like tiny adults. So even as there'd be kind of that nymph stage, they call it, they're going to look like the spiders look like tiny spiders.
Still tell it's a spider.
Yeah. So what spiders do, a lot of them do have venom. Spiders inject prey with venom from hollow fangs, which turns the inside into mush, and they can suck it out. So they leave that exoskeleton behind. Oftentimes, I notice it too. You'll see spider webs in the summertime with this looks like dead insects in there. That's probably just the exoskeleton of that insect left behind. Everything else has been sucked out.
They've eaten all the other stuff.
Yeah. And if you ask in class nicely, we'll show you the spider catching the bat. And actually eats the bat, or how it eats it. So it's kind of cool to see an actual bat get caught by a spider.
Then we have the centipedes, and these are the guys we always talk about how they have 100 legs.
Centa, 100, yeah.
Centa's 100, yep. So they can have more than 100 segments, and they have 1 pair of legs on each segment. Now, these guys can be a little painful.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to pick these guys up. They are predators. They inject their prey with venom, and some of them are a little more toxic than others. Somebody I know went to Hawaii, and there's some that live in the rocks of the lava, and if you sit and they get on in your pants or on your legs, they bite, and it's extremely painful. So
yeah, they seem pretty harmless when they're just kind of inching around there, but they do have the fangs. They can be dangerous. And kind of the opposite in there are millipedes. Now these guys have 80 segments, and oftentimes you'll see the 2 pairs. So there'll be 2 on this side and 2 on the other side, pairs of legs. All right, guys. So again, our millipedes, they have 2 segments in 2 pairs of legs in every segment. Now, the centipedes are predators. Millipedes are actually herbivores. They only eat plants, and kind of their defense mechanism, they tend to have a bad-smelling liquid they can squirt out to kind of ward off predators. They're also known not to taste very good too. They're gonna have some of those. When you have those bright colors, a lot of times that means I taste bad. Don't bite me anyway. So these guys are herbivores, but they have kind of some other defenses they can do to help them survive. All right, so 7th grade, we're gonna stop there. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you along the way.
Bye.